Hello, Rod speaking. May I help you?
Hey, Rod. This is Rob and my wife Meg.
Hey, Rob and Meg.
We've seen your videos on YouTube. They're great. We're really interested in moving to New Braunfels. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah. New Braunfels.
All right, so the first thing you have to know that you may not have known about New Braunfels, it's spelled with one S. So it's not New Braunfels, it's New Braunfels. And in fact, there's a song about it.
There's only one S in New Braunfels. You'll find it right at the end.
So only one S in New Braunfels, okay?
No S. Okay. New Braunfels.
New Braunfels. Right. Okay.
All right, so maybe that's one of the things you didn't know about New Braunfels. Today we're going to cover the top 10 things maybe you didn't know about New Braunfels. The one S in New Braunfels is number 10. The number 9 thing you may not know about New Braunfels is we have a lot of deer here. They're not hiding behind trees or bushes. They're on your front lawn all times of the day, broad daylight, evening, middle of the day. Yes, in the neighborhoods, at the parks, waiting to cross the street. They're really a part of our landscape here. The number 8 thing you may not know about New Braunfels, especially if you're from out of state, is our roads. We have what's called frontage roads here. It's similar to service drives you may have, but these can run forever. They're parallel to the highway, and like I said, they can stretch for miles, so you can exit off the highway onto the frontage road to get into business or residential districts. They're especially helpful, and sometimes when there's a huge backup, there is every once in a while on Interstate 35. Secondly, we have turnarounds here. It's the innermost left lane. So if you missed an exit or you just need to get to the other side of the highway, there you go. Super convenient. What's not so convenient though, and I've kind of learned this the hard way, is our left-hand turn lanes. Because if you're not paying attention to the arrows on the street, the road, or the signs, you could get into an accident. So typically you can use the 2 left-hand lanes to make a left at a light, but sometimes the outside left lane is not for turning left, and if you find out too late, you either crash, make the turn without crashing, or just follow the arrow straight and miss your turn and kind of have to loop back around then. But definitely pay attention to the arrows on the signs and on the roads themselves. The number 7 thing you might not know is that New Braunfels was founded and settled by a prince, Prince Solms of Braunfels, Germany. This guy, Prince Solms, actually landed in Texas in 1844 searching for land for German settlers. A year later, he was in San Antonio when he heard about some available land surrounded by rivers. So he purchased 1,200 acres for about $1,100, and the land he bought included what became New Braunfels. Kind of tied together with number 7, the number 6 thing you might not know about New Braunfels is that it still has a very German presence and influence, from our residents to restaurants to events like the granddaddy of all of our events here, the Wurstfest, which is making its return this year with the rebuilt Wurstfest building, replacing the one that burned down last November. Sausage, beer, music, and dancing. Our local newspaper was originally printed in German, and most families back in the day spoke German in the households around town. New Braunfels obviously has transitioned into English speaking since then, but you still see a lot of German words and images and phrases around town. We have a museum dedicated to our German history, and some of the buildings and homes around town built by the early settlers reflect German architecture. The number 5 thing maybe you didn't know about New Braunfels is that, let's just put it this way, you're never going to sit around here bored with nothing to do. And that's because we have a ton of events and activities. I'm not just talking here and there on the calendar, I'm talking year round. So we just mentioned Wurstfest, but that's the tip of the iceberg here in New Braunfels. We have our Day of the Dead celebration. End of October, we have our Christmas tree lighting. We have our Christmas parade. We have Wassail Fest, really neat event where people come downtown and sample wassail, which is warm cider, either spiked or non-spiked, and businesses stay open. Really neat. There's the Memorial Day salute and observation at the main plaza. And this event gives me all the feels because the high school band playing, the salute and taps to honor our fallen soldiers. We have the 4th of July parade, plus the huge gathering at Landa Park for the fireworks over Lake Landa, the county fair parade, and weekend fun at the county fairgrounds at the end of September. There's always something happening at the Civic Center, from pet expos to home and garden shows. There's our farmers market every Saturday downtown, and old green market days in Green where local vendors sell crafts and food. There is always something to do in New Braunfels. Number 4 on my list of things you may not know about New Braunfels is that it's hard to tell if a house is a house or a business, and that's because we have a lot of mixed use, mixed zoning here. But it's also what gives us our historical charm. It really is. Many of the properties started off as homes in the 1800s. Eventually, a number of them transitioned to businesses, but still very, very well preserved and really part of what makes the downtown area so unique. It's like time standing still. Number 3 on my list of things that you may not know about New Braunfels is something I didn't know about New Braunfels before I moved here. And when I saw it, I was like, whoa, I didn't know. I was kind of shocked. And that is New Braunfels is so green. Totally shattering my perception of cactuses here, tumbleweed and dry weather. Lush green, especially when we get a lot of rain, which we have this year. Not just the grass in the fields though. It's impressive, that part's impressive too, but we're talking about the mature trees in our established neighborhoods and parks, which leads to my number 2 thing you may not know about New Braunfels, and that it is hilly here. New Braunfels is really the start of hill country, so we've got the topography working for us, open spaces, some pretty amazing views. In fact, I did a video dedicated to the most amazing views in New Braunfels. It's in the description below. And all of that, the views, the topography, the hills, it all works for people moving here from other places that have views. The number 1 thing you might not know about New Braunfels, and it tends to catch a lot of first-time visitors off guard, is New Braunfels is super friendly. I hear the stories all of the time from our families, especially when they're visiting for the first time here. The thing they tell me most is when they stop somewhere, people here are just super friendly. We had a family move here in February, but on their first trip here and their first stop at New Braunfels, which happened to be at Buc-ee's, well, I'll let them tell it. Here's what happened.
My wife and I were walking around in there, and she turned around and bumps into this guy, and she was ready to just get blasted by him because that's just what we're used to. And it turns out the guy he apologized to her, and she bumped into him. And, you know, called her ma'am and all this other stuff, and it was just, we were almost in awe. Southern hospitality is a real thing, and I think it even goes a step beyond here in New Braunfels.
See? Friendly. We see it and we hear it all of the time. Even strangers helping other strangers out, young and old. If you're a family with kids moving to New Braunfels and you're getting them started in new schools, that can be very nerve-wracking, of course. Maybe not so much. Listen to what one middle schooler has to say about his experience in his first semester here from another state in New Braunfels schools.
I was nervous because I thought I wouldn't make that many friends. I came surprised because I made a bunch of friends the first day. Yeah, and everybody was just so nice to me. They welcomed me, everything.
See, even with the kids, friendly, less stress involved for you. What are some of the things that you might not have known about New Braunfels? Let me know in the comment section below. And if some of those things cause you to eventually move here, I'd love to be your real estate resource of choice. You can email me, you can call me, or you can shoot me a text. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button there because we're putting out new videos about what it's like to live in New Braunfels every single week. We'll see you guys on the next one.